Have you ever noticed how a single, seemingly small moment between two people can completely change the emotional atmosphere between them? Not a dramatic confession, not a grand romantic gesture, just a quiet moment when the distance between two people disappears for a second. A moment when a woman allows a certain kind of physical closeness that she normally guards very carefully. Most people overlook it. They brush past it as if it's nothing. But psychologically, it can reveal far more than words ever could. Because when a woman willingly lets you touch a specific, emotionally intimate part of her body, something important is happening beneath the surface. Not necessarily ownership, not possession, but access, emotional access, trust, and sometimes a deeper level of attraction that she hasn't even fully admitted to herself yet. But here's where it gets interesting. Most men misunderstand this moment completely. Some assume it means everything. Others miss it entirely. And the truth is much more subtle, much more psychological, and much more fascinating than most people realize. So the real question isn't just what part of the body we're talking about. The real question is this: what does it mean when someone allows a kind of touch that crosses from ordinary social interaction into personal, emotional territory? Before we go deeper into this topic, something important needs to be clear. This conversation is not about manipulation. It's not about pressuring someone, and it's definitely not about ignoring boundaries. Human attraction and connection are complex psychological processes, and healthy relationships are built on respect, consent, and emotional maturity. Understanding human behavior doesn't mean exploiting it. It means recognizing patterns. It means being aware of emotional signals. And most importantly, it means respecting the other person's autonomy at every step. When a woman allows certain forms of physical closeness, the meaning isn't ownership. The meaning is comfort. It's a moment where emotional safety and attraction intersect. And when that happens naturally, without pressure, it tells us something meaningful about the connection between two people. Certain forms of touch carry more psychological weight than others. We have to talk about something fundamental in human behavior: emotional territory. Every human being has invisible boundaries. Some are physical, some are emotional, and some are deeply subconscious. When we interact with strangers, our bodies maintain distance automatically. When we interact with acquaintances, that distance shrinks slightly. But when attraction and trust begin to develop, something fascinating happens. The boundaries begin to soften. This isn't random. It's part of how human beings evaluate safety, connection, and emotional compatibility. Attachment theory helps explain this. When someone feels emotionally safe around another person, their nervous system relaxes, their body language opens, eye contact becomes longer, laughter becomes more natural. Disappear. But here's where most people get it wrong. Touch itself isn't the signal. Context is. Anyone can touch someone casually in a social setting. A high five, a brief handshake, even a friendly hug. Those actions don't necessarily reveal deeper emotional interest. But when a woman allows you to touch certain personal areas that people instinctively protect, areas associated with vulnerability, the psychology becomes very different. Pay attention to this. One of the most psychologically revealing places is the face. Not in an invasive way, but in small, natural moments. Brushing a strand of hair away, lightly touching her cheek in a quiet conversation, or when she places her face close enough that this kind of closeness becomes natural rather than awkward. The face is incredibly personal territory. Evolutionarily speaking, humans protect the face because it's tied to identity, emotion, and vulnerability. Allowing someone close enough to touch it signals a high level of trust, and often, emotional attraction. Have you ever noticed how quickly someone pulls away if they feel uncomfortable? That reaction is automatic. But when a woman remains relaxed, when her posture softens, when her eyes linger instead of darting away, that's when something deeper may be happening. And this is subtle, but powerful. Another area that reveals emotional openness is the neck. The neck is one of the most vulnerable parts of the human body. Instinctively, people protect it. So when a woman allows someone to be physically close in that space, especially in relaxed conversation, it signals comfort on a subconscious level. Sometimes you'll notice small clues. Her posture tilts slightly toward you. Her voice becomes softer. Her breathing slows. These are the signs. Micro signals. They're not dramatic, but psychologically, they're incredibly revealing. Now here's where things become more complex. Because attraction is rarely straightforward. Human emotions often operate in layers. A woman might feel curiosity, attraction, caution, and uncertainty all at the same time, which leads to one of the most misunderstood dynamics in relationships: mixed signals. Have you ever experienced this? One moment she seems warm, relaxed, close. The next moment she creates distance. This push and pull confuses a lot of people. But psychologically, it makes sense. When someone begins to feel attracted to another person, especially if the connection feels intense, the brain often activates protective mechanisms. Part of her may want to lean closer, another part may want to slow down. This creates hot and cold behavior. It's not manipulation most of the time. It's internal conflict. Attraction versus caution. Desire versus self-protection. And during these moments, physical signals can fluctuate. One day she may seem comfortable with closeness. The next day she may step back. This is why interpreting a single moment without context can lead to misunderstandings. You have to observe patterns, consistency, energy shifts, and subtle emotional cues. Here's another fascinating psychological pattern: public versus private behavior. When a woman feels attracted to someone but isn't ready to fully express it socially, her behavior often changes depending on the environment. In group settings, she may keep physical distance. Her tone might become more neutral. Eye contact might decrease. But when the two of you are alone, something different happens. Her posture relaxes. Conversations become deeper. Distance naturally shrinks. This contrast reveals something important. It shows that the emotional connection exists, but external factors are influencing how openly it's expressed. Another powerful context shift appears in communication patterns: texting versus in-person interaction. Some women express emotional openness through messages first. The words become more personal. The responses arrive faster. Conversations last longer. But in person, she might initially appear more reserved. Why? Because face-to-face vulnerability feels more intense. But over time, when emotional trust builds, the physical and emotional signals begin to align. You'll notice longer eye contact, more relaxed body language, and sometimes small natural moments of physical closeness that weren't there before. But this is where maturity becomes essential, because physical signals are not permission for assumptions. They are simply clues within a much larger emotional landscape. Respecting boundaries is not just ethical, it's psychologically attractive. People feel safe around those who respect space, timing, and emotional readiness. Ironically, the more patient and respectful someone is, the more comfortable the other person often becomes. Safety creates openness. Pressure creates resistance. That's a principle you'll see repeated in every healthy relationship dynamic. Now, let's talk about another moment that reveals deeper emotional comfort. When someone enters the room unexpectedly, watch the reaction carefully. If a woman quickly pulls away from physical closeness, it doesn't always mean embarrassment. Sometimes it means the connection feels private, protected, almost like a shared emotional bubble that exists only between the two of you. But if she remains relaxed, same body language even when others appear, that can signal something different. It may indicate she's comfortable with the connection being visible. Both responses carry psychological meaning. Neither is automatically positive or negative. The context matters. The relationship stage matters. The personalities involved matter. But this is where the deeper lesson emerges. The real power in understanding human attraction isn't about decoding one single signal. It's about emotional awareness, paying attention to patterns, listening not only to words, but to tone, pauses, and subtle behavioral shifts. Because attraction rarely announces itself loudly. More often, it whispers, through proximity, through eye contact, through small moments of trust. And yes, sometimes through the quiet acceptance of certain forms of touch that signal emotional comfort. But here's the most important truth in this entire conversation. No person ever truly belongs to another. Healthy attraction is not about possession, it's about connection, mutual interest, mutual respect, and mutual choice. When someone feels safe, valued, and emotionally understood, closeness grows naturally. It doesn't need to be forced. It doesn't need to be decoded like a puzzle. It simply unfolds over time. And ironically, the people who understand this tend to form the strongest relationships because they focus less on controlling outcomes and more on creating genuine emotional presence. So the next time you notice one of these subtle moments, a shift in distance, a moment of relaxed closeness, a quiet signal of comfort, don't rush to conclusions. Instead, see it as part of a larger story unfolding between two people, a story written through behavior, trust, and emotional awareness. Because in the end, attraction isn't about a single touch. It's about the atmosphere two people create together. An atmosphere where both individuals feel seen, respected, and free to move closer at their own pace. And when that happens naturally, something powerful emerges. Not possession, not control, but connection. The kind of connection that doesn't need dramatic declarations to prove its existence. It reveals itself quietly, in the spaces between words. If you found this perspective interesting, make sure to subscribe for more insights into human psychology, attraction, and emotional intelligence. Because the more you understand these subtle dynamics, the more clearly you begin to see the hidden patterns shaping every relationship around you. And once you start noticing them, you'll never look at human interaction the same way again.